Someone shot the food. Life force running out.
Good evening, everybody. It is, of course, Monday, July the 20th. Almost said June. Nearly caught me in his faux pas. I got it right this time. Hell yeah. It's the Mr. Video Game Live Super Show brought to you by Dead Sun Entertainment. Everyone clap your hands, say yeah. We're coming back yet again for another scene, of course. I am the guy that pushes buttons here and makes go vroom and brr. I am Slacker Kite. It's good to see everyone back today. Of course, we got our two returning champions coming back today. I ain't got nothing great to say, so hey, let's get with Mr. Brian, aka Wonder Boy, into the chat. How you doing today, buddy?
Nothing great to say, huh? That's okay. I have my own issues with that about myself. How's everyone doing today? That sounded weird. I want to back that up real quick. That sounded very youth pastor. I'm gonna pull that back and say, "What's up?"
Well, I'm super. Thanks for asking.
Cool. I'm good to hear. I don't know. I've been okay. Hey, I love that a week, like not even a week after I sit here on our high horse of a Twitch show and say that I don't think that streaming platforms are going to start handing out $1 million deals to anybody. And within a week, Twitch throws Logic like 7 figures to retire from rapping to stream video games. Okay, thanks Twitch for showing up my spot.
It's fine. I mean, nobody could have seen Logic deciding to go into Twitch streaming, and that's a big-ass name you get in there, so...
Who can relate? Woo!
By the way, I should mention, hey guys, I'm streaming from the new computer right now because the old computer's fucking dead. So hey, if you hear any sound that's weird, please let me know, and we'll try to figure out how to get the best audio to your feed directly. Of course, it ain't a stream without the Lady Merwin, aka Lindsay. How you doing today, buddy?
Oh, I'm peachy. Also, I'm going to throw this in chat because it's kind of a thing.
It's a thing, you say?
I'm waiting for the thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
11 months in a row. How dare you?
Nice.
Oh, hey, speaking of subscribed, I want to keep everyone up in the reminder here that because, largely for Giant Pie here in the chat, pitching us all sorts of subscriber gifts, tomorrow we will be doing the history of the world that we were not able to last week because life sucks sometimes, but it will definitely be happening tomorrow. So me and Brian here will be excited to tell you guys all about the worlds of 50s and 60s video games, which is fucking weird. But we're excited to talk to y'all about that, and we will get as far into that discussion as we possibly can, because I don't know if 2 hours is honestly enough to cover the whole thing, but we're going to do the best to try.
1 hour. It's a 1 hour show tomorrow.
1 hour.
Sorry. Just want to make sure we're on brand here. I don't want to promise 2 hours and
No.
duck out and be like, ah.
No, you're right. It's 1 hour. My brain misspoke because this is the 2 hour show. Tomorrow is the 1 hour show. And then every Friday, some odds Fridays, maybe Hollis, Koala, and I all do the 1 hour show. So
How was that show Friday, by the way? I did not get a chance to tune in, so.
It was fucking great, actually. I had my concerns whether it would be good or not, and I actually really had a great time with it.
Rad. I'm glad to hear that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it worked out really well, so, kind of excited to do this once a month with that crew. I was kind of worried because, Hollis and Koala have spoken a little bit together, but don't have, a repertoire. And, Hollis is quite good at overtaking a conversation, but held her own, was surprised. So, it'll be a good thing, I think. It'll be a good series to have to add to the list here at Mr. Video Games. So, Brian, how's your week been?
It's been busy. So I know last week I said that I was going to finally take a peek at Deadly Premonition 2. Unfortunately, I have not had time to really look at that yet.
Boo.
So I can't report on that just yet. I haven't really been playing a ton of video games per se. Like I've been popping in, playing some Apex here and there, just as like a decompression sort of thing. And then I'm not gonna lie, I've probably played more Magic the Gathering than I have video games this week.
Yes.
I'm slowly succumbing even further. No, it's been a good week though. Just a lot of I had a really awesome, like a lot of my time this past week was devoted to like one particular thing within the wrestling sphere, and it was really awesome to experience it. With had the chance to interview Sonny Kiss from All Elite Wrestling. That was pretty rad, and then they had a pretty big matchup there with Sonny against the son of Dusty Rhodes, Cody.
Whoa.
On AEW Dynamite on Wednesday night. So that was fun to interview Sonny prior to that match, and then just basically I just spent almost every day last week covering that match and Sonny. So that took up a lot of my time as well from video games. But video games are still there. I've been paying attention, just haven't been playing a ton of them.
Fair.
Yes.
Merwin, how you been doing between melting?
Not too bad. Found out that I got my job. I'll
Yeah.
start on the 29th,
Yeah.
so we may have a special co-host filling in for me for a couple of weeks until my schedule evens out. Unless we want to start Mr. Video Games a half hour later.
We'll discuss that off the air.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that'll be interesting. I haven't done tech support in a decade
Oh.
or more.
Yeah. You were doing tech support when I met you. That's weird.
Yeah, I was doing tech support in my very first call center job in 2005, 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So like 2 years out of college. But yeah, so that's been a thing. I've been running around doing paperwork and all of that stuff. Nice thing is it'll be work from home for the first little bit. And then the commute is real because it's going to take me 2 hours to get to and from.
Kicking rad.
It's life though, right?
Yeah.
Needed a job, found a job. Life is good.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll get you covered in the meantime. It's only a few weeks regardless, so. And,
Exactly.
yeah. then
Hopefully.
We'll see how that schedules out. But, hey,
Peace.
I've been playing video games, and it kind of ties into the first, story we have here.
Ooh, what you been playing?
Because the reviews are in, and Mario Origami King has gotten maybe a higher than it deserves 81 out of Metascore.
Sounds like somebody has
Ooh.
opinion.
God, it is a game that I play, and I can tell the people who developed it had a lot of love for this game. But I definitely do not. I don't hate it, but I feel myself extraordinarily bored by it. Okay, first, despite the fact that it's an RPG in title, it's not really an RPG, right? You do get your turns in order to solve these little mini puzzles, right? Your plane of fighting is you're in a little circle in the middle, and there's 4 rings outside of you, and your enemies appear in these rings. And in order to pull off your best attacks on them, you have to line them up in certain orders in order to get certain attacks to go off the way you want them to. So, and if you don't do that, then usually the enemies will get a turn to attack you back, rada rada. The game gives out literally fucking all of the money, and you can spend that to make your Toad army that you pick up as you go through the game. Literally half of the game is really just going through each of the little areas and fiddling with it. Like, you pull toads out of the ground and beat on them with hammers to get them to not be little origami craft things. And you also toss around glitter to fill in holes in the world that have been made by varying enemies. So that's your primary mechanics, honestly, is wandering around, plucking toads from the ground, and filling in holes with confetti. And it's an experience, I guess. It's kind of fun watching Mario go around going, yippee, and tossing confetti everywhere. But it's...
I can get behind that.
Yeah, it's just not that satisfactory feeling, especially because you get, like, this little companion that wanders with you and has dialogue for literally everything that fucking happens ever, and you just want him to shut up. Because Mario's a silent protagonist. He doesn't say shit. Everyone around him talks. Luigi talks. Origami Peach talks. Everyone else talks but Mario, which is fine. Mario shouldn't react. And at the same time, that was what was fun to me in games like... I played like the DS RPGs, the Sticker Star Saga, Inside Bowser's Story. I never played in the Paper Marios before, so I don't know if this is how they normally work. But usually he's silent and kind of reacts to everything in a vaudevillian way, and it's kind of cute. And you don't get that here.
So, from my understanding, this is not necessarily reflective of what the Paper Mario fan base has necessarily wanted from Paper Mario. That apparently, from what I just have gathered from reading responses, is that since, like, I think it was it Thousand Year Door was the GameCube one, that was like basically the high point, and since then, like, the Paper Mario franchise is like, it still generates a lot of excitement because of the love for it, but in terms of the mechanics and the actual presentation of it, that it's kind of like been simplified to over and over again in a way that doesn't necessarily reflect some of the expectations or desires of the fan base in that way. That's all conjecture from me, just from what I've read about it.
You got it in spades, especially looking at the user reviews here. It's all either 10s or 0s. There's no in between here. It's either, I'm mad that there aren't any RPG mechanics.
That's user reviews in general, though.
True.
Like 10s or 0s, so whatever.
And it does suck. There doesn't feel like any reason to fight standard enemies, because you don't get any, like, experience. You just kind of find hearts that power up your health and attack every now and again from boss fights.
Mm-hmm.
So everything else feels useless.
So it took away, like, all of the best parts of the Paper Mario games.
Yep, you don't have companions, as far as I can tell, that you interact with. You just have this one person floating alongside you. Maybe I haven't gotten that far into it, but I finished the first full chapter. You would think, like, by the end of the first chapter out of what looks like to be, like, 8 chapters, if there was any further depth to it, you might, at least see it coming.
Yeah, like, typically your first chapter is your, hey, let's introduce all of the mechanics.
Yeah.
and all of the good stuff, so that way you can just settle in for the next 7 or however many, and so it's like a stripped down version of the games I fell in love with. That's really saddening.
Yeah, and even like the bosses are kind of lame, or at least the one that I got to, right? Because you don't get any real build up for them. Like you know that they're coming. Like I'll just spoil the first boss at the end of chapter one is a box of colored pencils, and you don't really know that you're going to find a box of colored pencils. But as you're climbing the tower, like missiles in the shape of pencils come and attack you, and the tower like has little bits of colored pencil drawings all over it. So I guess that's your setup to see it, but it's not like the enemy has a real personality. So when you're fighting it, you're like, oh yeah, it's a clutch time between me and the colored pencil box. It's just the fucking colored pencil box that's here. Okay. it's it's not a bad game. It is really not bad, and I want to emphasize it. It's a beautiful looking game too, but I'm so used to that Nintendo polish that I play this is like I just rather go back and play one of the older Mario RPGs.
Oh,
It's
That's a bummer to
sad.
hear. I was curious about the combat system because it looked visually interesting to me, but also like I, not having my hands on it, like I could not necessarily like really gather an opinion on how it like works out in actual like execution.
It's a nice idea, right? Because you're solving puzzles in order to do your attacks. So there's maybe I'm only so far into it, and really they haven't given me any difficult puzzles yet, so I'm still kind of feeling bored with the design of, hey, just twist this ring and you'll get everything in order so you can jump on them. But we'll see. Maybe that'll evolve more, and if it does, like I'll update you guys. But it's a fun little RPG to play, since it's a Switch, curled up in bed for a few minutes, I got 20 minutes to spare, fuck around, go pluck toads out of the sky, and hit everything, because literally fucking anything could be a toad. There are more toads in this than there are fucking stars in Mario Odyssey, so... Yeah, like, I've gotten no friends that participate in battle yet, Giant Pie, so maybe eventually, like, I have a friend that wanders around me and can transform into shit to help me out on my journey, but it's all, interacting with the scenery stuff rather than helping out in battle shit, like in other Mario games, so... Yeah, it's a video game that exists if you're really craving a, cutesy RPG light video game. It's not bad. I can't really hate it. Like I'm going to go back and play more of it rather than go back to The Last of Us 2 because I still don't feel like being sad right now. I'll get back to it for damn certain. I am excited to play it, but I don't want to play it in the mindset that will make me really sad that I'm playing it. So.
if you got the good vibes going, keep the good vibes going.
Exactly. I feel good right now, and you know what? If I can say anything positive about Mario Origami King, it's so cute. It kind of just makes you feel a little giddy inside. So that's good. Like, not as giddy as Link's Awakening remake did. That is the fucking cutest bullshit you'll ever see in your entire life, and everyone needs to play a Link's Awakening. I don't care if it's a 10-hour game that costs $60. It is so fucking pretty and charming that I will...
It's kind of like the reason I picked up Yoshi's Woolly World way back in the day, because it was cute. And it actually turned out to be a pretty solid game.
Yeah, this feels like a game that, if you can just veg out as far as you can with whatever substance you enjoy and just chill out, It's a good chill vibe game. That is my review. But don't expect hardcore RPG mechanic. A quick one while we're still talking about Mario and Nintendo.
Hi, I'm Lego.
I'm gonna mute this. I know you guys all know that the Mario Lego set is coming out, the Mario Adventure set, next month. And hey, I'll be getting one in next month, so I'll showcase it here on the show. But this bad boy is coming out, and it was, I believe, it was teased last week, and we talked about it a bit. But here is the actual bad boy for sale. America can buy it, but you have to go to a Lego store directly to buy it. It's going to be like $250. And you can see it actually in action here. The crank actually moves the screen. And the little Mario guy can interact with it and play the Mario theme as your character on screen jumps around and does stuff. I don't know if I feel that this is $250 worth. Like, don't get me wrong. My buddy Eric has the Ghostbusters Playhouse set that's like $600, and that's cool as shit to me. But I can't feel this for $250. Like, I guess if you have a raging boner for tiny 80 CRTs like this, maybe that's your bag, baby. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, if they had put it at like a more reasonable price point, I might be interested in it. But $250, I mean, that'll buy me a capture card for my PS4.
E.
So, and that'll be like 250 US, so that's like 325-ish Canadian after taxes. So, yeah, no.
Like, the Nintendo playset, I totally get this. And, like, this base set is $60, and the additional parts are all $20. I can see spending, like, up to $300 on this, because, like, you continue to expand it out, get different suits for Mario. It's cute, it's fun, it's something to do with your time. It actually has, like, a feel to it, and you can do something with it. All you can do with this is put in the NES cartridge looking thing and then spin the screen. And the screen's cute, don't get me wrong. But goddamn.
It's a tchotchke. It's an
Yeah.
expensive tchotchke, and it looks cool, but
And
I don't
this is
know.
going to be a collector's item someday, right? This is going to be on eBay for like $2,000 in 10 years or some shit.
possibly. I don't know. It could be widespread enough that it probably won't necessarily get that inflated.
All right. While we're still on Nintendo, to finish this out, possibly the shortest Nintendo Direct that I have ever seen just came out today.
Well, they did refer to it as a direct mini, and
Yeah.
and it's the first of a few that they're planning on doing. So
Yeah,
in
I'm
that
not,
way, it makes sense.
I know some people are mad about it being so short, but like I'm fine with it. Like I don't need all of the hype in one setting. It's there. But
Especially whenever you. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to step
Go
on you
ahead.
there. I was like, just especially because like you don't have a ton to announce in this.
yeah,
You know?
there just wasn't a whole lot of real bag to it. Like the big starter they started off with was DLC for Cadence of Hyrule, which don't get me wrong, that is pretty cool. I did love Cadence of Hyrule. It's a really neat game. But promoting DLC for not even your first party, your third party stuff to get Impa and Shadow Link. Meh.
Hey, they're showing Majora's Mask some love, so that's cool.
True that.
From what I understand, though, that this mini direct was to primarily focus on their third-party IPs.
Yeah.
rather than their first party. So, I mean, that kind of makes sense. And Cadence is one of their bigger third party IPs right now.
Yeah, it's a cute game. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like they're introducing new actual content. It's just additional characters and additional songs that you can play as. Songs you can play as, characters you can play as. Strike all that and reverse it. They also announced Rogue Company, which. Another third person multiplayer shooter.
I believe this is from the same studio that did Paladins.
I think you're right.
Ew.
Double check real quick. Oh, that was an interesting reaction.
I am not a big fan of Paladins. I mean, don't get me wrong. Played a Pally for many years in WoW. Played one for many years in D&D. Really didn't like the game named Paladins.
Yes, so
Fair.
this is the company that made Smite and Paladins. Yes.
Oh god. My sister's fiance is obsessed with Smite.
Oh lord.
So-
So this will be a game for him.
I'm not gonna tell him it exists
That's fair.
because my sister'd probably kill me because he'd try to steal the Switch, and she's kind of all about that Animal Crossing right now. So
Ooh, so she's in the same boat as Joe, and don't steal my Animal Crossing toy.
yeah, I think there'd be snarling and a potential for the wedding to be off. So
Fair.
I'll say this: like, I wasn't a huge. I didn't really spend a ton of time at Paladins. It didn't really sink its teeth into me, but this looks like. It looks like another third-person shooter. It gives me like much like Hyperscape did. It gives me strong Apex vibes in the presentation of it. But I don't know. I don't mind messing around with something, seeing how it works. Like, I like some of the ideas that were in the trailer. I'll be curious. I'm curious to see if they execute well on them. Also, this will be a fun, interesting little performance test. Honestly, before Apex drops on the Switch later this year,
True that.
to see how well a game like that might run on Switch hardware. Depending on whether it's handheld or docked. So I might mess around with this. We'll see.
Yeah, and I think, of all the consoles, if you can get it to run well, a shooter could do really well on the Switch. I think the controllers especially are built well for that in design. You also have WWE 2K Battlegrounds coming.
Oh my god, damn it! All right.
Yeah.
I love a trailer that does nothing to tell me that this game is interesting at all. And I love like coached up fake like responses from wrestlers playing video games. All wrestlers that like video games, by the way. Fun fact, Asuka, who was in that trailer, used to write for an Xbox magazine in Japan. So, yeah. Fun stuff. No, this game... nothing about what I've seen about this game excites me. As, like, the Wrestle Boy and the video game boy, I don't care for what I've seen so far.
Yeah,
I'm curious to play it just to see what it feels like, but this doesn't, like, if this is what you're going to release instead of a traditional 2K game, then okay, it's a choice. It's definitely a choice. But I don't know if this is really going to move the needle in the way that you think it is.
Yeah, the 2K series as a whole is kind of meh to me at this point. Like, they've flopped enough and put enough, microtransactions into their games at this point that when I hear the 2K name, I just kind of zone out, as I did for this trailer. So...
Well, see, the thing with the WWE 2K games, though, it's not even the microtransactions, really, because, like, they're not terribly egregious in the WWE games. It's more so just the technical execution of them. Like they're taking a year off from it because 2K20 was that fucking bad.
I remember
running.
it's an atrocity.
Yeah, it was just terrible. So I'm glad that they're going back to the. Hopefully, they're going back to the drawing board with that series to see what they can do to work out that engine and make it better. But this one, I have a feeling this is going to come and pass like that. Whenever it does eventually come out later this year, I just don't. I don't feel like this has any staying power, and it sucks because like it's a game that really calls back to WWE All Stars, which is a game that gets slept on a lot. But in terms of like an arcade wrestling game, it's probably the best one in a long time. Probably the best one of the last decade at least, longer than that. But this just doesn't capture that the same way that NBA Playgrounds did not recapture that NBA Jam magic in the way that they really wanted to. I have a feeling because it's the same studio that made that game that's
Wow.
working on this game. So we'll see, but I just don't have high hopes. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't look at all interesting. Like, cool, you want to throw a wrestler into the mouth of a gator? I just watched a pay-per-view where they promised to have a gator show up in a match, and that didn't deliver either. So why do you think I'm gonna like? It's just bad. Just
As
bad.
a boy that likes his sports and isn't getting them anymore, boy, if you could tap into that sports market and bring something that's actually hype, I don't know what I would do for you, sir, but I would be a big fan. Howdy, Coop.
Don't worry, Madden's coming. Also,
Yeah.
the NBA game.
Yeah, boy, they sure are coming.
Yeah.
As well, Shin Megami Tensei surprisingly got some love for the Nintendo Switch. The third installment, which I have had described as a magical kick in the nuts, is coming to Switch. So, yeah, expect that. It is, boy, it is a really strange game to pull to the Switch. The people who love it, but I've seen some bits and pieces of it, and just a real magical kick to the dick through the whole game.
I can't get over that description. I really can't.
It's painful, but it's still magical.
So you end up covered in glitter?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, I'm not. I haven't really played the Shin Megami Tensei series, and I've always been like on like the edge of it and vaguely interested in it, but never enough to really take the dive. This coming to Switch is first off is Shin Megami Tensei 3 like a hallmark in the series, and like what would you say in terms of like someone who has never played one of these games? Like how would you?
It
would
is
you
a hallmark.
recommend this being a jumping off part?
It is the darling of people who love obnoxiously over into its own ass RPGs, the kind of RPGs where you're building spreadsheets while you play it.
Oh God.
Yeah, so definitely one of those games that if you love your RPGs to be in depth,
Is
super.
it like
Go ahead.
is it like dot hack in depth?
Oh, it's way more in depth than that. I
Fuck,
would,
I'm out.
yeah, I would put it somewhere along the Disgaea to the exponential factor.
Okay.
That's Shin Megami Tensei 3. I watched a bit of Shadow Super Butterbuns, YouTuber, and she also streams. She played it, loves them RPGs, and went between gushing and cursing its very name. So,
Sounds
magical
about
kick
right.
in the dick.
So, knowing all of that, excited for more Shin Megami Tensei?
Yeah, I gotta say the trailer didn't say a whole lot about Part 5, but it looks like it is following in that aesthetic, that dark and foreboding aesthetic, where you deal with demons and whatnot. It is, the Shin Megami Tensei, its sister to Persona. It's a little bit darker in thematically. So it's hard to really know how to feel about a Shin Megami Tensei game from a trailer.
I see.
So, you're telling me this game is the video game embodiment of 2020?
You're not wrong. It's
Ah.
it is post-apocalyptic because that's what they do. Full of demons and contracts with demons, and all of that good micromanagement bullshit that you could possibly love from an RPG.
Demon contracts, you say?
Demon contracts, I say. So, hey, if that sounds interesting to you, give Shin Megami Tensei 5 a look. It's coming out next year. The graphics look fucking great. I'm not showing them right now, but I'm not for a very specific reason, because it didn't really fucking show anything. I would bother if, you could tease anything out of the trailer. You can't. It's basically a cutscene.
I don't know. That lady touched that demon's hand and then got all swirly. That's the swirly lady.
Yeah, swirly things happened, and it definitely looks like a video game. But if you told me that was the next Devil May Cry, I'd believe you too.
Yikes.
Yo. All right, continuing in slightly to the side here. I feel like we talked about this last week, but I don't know why though.
We talked about WoW last week, but we didn't necessarily talk about this.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Because one of the staples of World of Warcraft, anybody who's ever played it in the 15 years running, the first thing that you get is you get dropped into a little zone that is just for newbies, where you wander around and get introduced to the game. 10 years ago, they revamped all of those little starter areas to be slightly more newbie friendly, because shit would wander around and kick your ass if you weren't paying attention originally, so they fixed that 10 years ago. But they really want to bring in a newer audience, because the audience they have is, it's the audience they have. It's mostly the diehard people that will come back for every new expansion, maybe hang out between expansions and all of the, getting all of the little things that you can get, but now they are replacing all of the newbie areas with one large island for you to fudge around with. One of the main reasons they cite is because of the fact that all of the starter areas were mostly developed years ago. So you would get into there, and boy, that's a fucking dragon. What's the dragon about? The dragon was about 3 expansions ago.
Yeah. Coop, they sort of did. They revamped a lot of the starting zones at that point. But now the starting zones, per race as we know them, are going to the wayside. And get this, along with the level squish, reports coming out of alpha and beta, leveling 1 to 50 right now, if you take your time, will run you between 10 and 15 hours.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah, that basically gets you into the new content in a day's time if you do it correctly.
And we're going to make it even scarier. With Shadowlands, they're bringing in controller support.
Ooh, weird. I don't know how I feel about that.
How would you even play that game on controller?
The sheer number of keybinds, I use every freaking action bar possible just to keep on my rotation.
Yeah.
You would have to use every button and then combinations thereof. Like, also, I mean, it's a MMO on PC. Chat is a thing.
Yeah, and like, how the fuck would you heal like that unless like heal is literally your Y button?
Break out the Steam controllers.
Oh boy. I mean, like, I know people that have like the 20 button gaming mice and they still run out of keybinds.
Mm.
So,
Coop,
I don't know.
I hear you on like you can play certain RPGs, MMOs for certain with a controller, but there is a strong difference between how World of Warcraft lays out your key usage and Final Fantasy XIV lays it out.
Like, I mean, I played GTA 5 on PC online with a controller.
Mm.
I could never conceive playing WoW with a controller. Ever. Ever. There's no way.
It sounds difficult. Then again, if you play a Death Knight, then you could. It's really easy. Just smash it in the face.
Dude, mages and priests are 3-button gangstas.
Nice. Summon Swarm! All right, moving on. Tiny Build surprisingly keeps getting. Why is this not here? That's interesting. Game
Oh,
Industry
no.
Biz, why do you keep dropping your articles? Hold on, maybe I got the thing wrong. That is interesting. Well, I can give you the breakdown and then I'll try to Google it real quick. Tiny Build has purchased the company behind Hello Neighbor, surprisingly also titled Hello Neighbor. Tiny Build becoming kind of the go-to company when you're looking for super streamable games now.
I've got it in, or Brian beat me to it. It's in Discord for you.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you, Brian.
I was literally about to post the exact same link. You beat me to it by like 2 seconds.
So yeah, you may know Hello Neighbor as your very streamer-friendly, jump around, hide in all of the things from your creepy-ass neighbor vidya game. And man, I don't understand why Hello Neighbor has become such a huge game as it has. The fan base is huge. But yeah, this is, a multi-million-dollar deal for the Hello Neighbor studio, which really, between all of the things under the Tiny Build platform, hey, if you're a streamer that wants those games that what makes yelling and stuff and brings the boys to the yard, Tiny Build's a damn reliable company out there. They're getting their shit out there. I'm not a huge fan of most of Tiny Build stuff, but they know their core demo.
No, I mean that's on display, not just with Hello Neighbor. I think their latest game, was it Totally Reliable Delivery Service, like that is a staple on streaming platforms. At least it has been in the past few months. So yeah, I mean this makes sense. Like I think the game was basically, I want to say it was somewhat developed like alongside Tiny Build, or like Tiny Build published it. Published Hello Neighbor originally, so it makes sense that they would pick up the studio behind it. I don't know. I mean, it's a no-brainer. The thing's got like 40 million players according to their reports. So excuse me. So like it makes total sense. It's a good pickup for them, and they're starting to really like build a franchise out of Hello Neighbor as well. They got a board game coming. They got a graphic novel coming. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what the team puts together now that they have a new name and they have a new boss. So I don't know. I'm curious.
Yeah,
Tiny
you
Build had a pretty good track record.
Yeah, you look at their games here. I'm just kind of scrolling through all of their games listed on their website, and man, you see a lot of like just slamming. You don't really think of Tiny Build a lot when you think of major indie companies, but you've got some real bangers here. Party Hard. I forgot that they actually published that, and Streets of Rogue. I actually enjoyed both of those games, so that's I forgot they even published those games.
Yeah, and I mean, with the whole sneaky horror mess with your head thing, I mean, like, this is the studio behind Pathologic too.
Yeah,
So, like, that looks really, this was a really good acquisition on their part. And while you were browsing through, one of their titles caught my eye, and now I need to go buy it. Not for Broadcast looks incredible.
Oh, that one is pretty fun.
I've actually not heard of that. I don't think anybody will mind a
It's
quick trailer.
it's giving me vibes of a game that I've played called Orwell.
Mm,
And in Orwell, you're pretty much, think 1984.
yeah.
You're in charge of redacting information and need to make sure that basically things happen and you need to figure out who did it by going through the news, printing the things that are supposed to be printed and hiding the things that could implicate anybody.
Ooh.
And it's so much fun. Although for some reason on my screen everything works except for the trailer itself is just a frozen frame.
Of course. Because Google loves me. Just a sec. Okay. Apparently, I can't do the trailer out of a window. Oh, no, even when I don't have it in window, it still is a held thing. Just. I don't know. Technology. This is supposed to be a video game. It looks kind of cool, but you're not missing a whole lot not looking at it. It's a whole bunch of 90s looking FMV stuff, which is a cool
Yeah,
vibe to go for.
It's basically a propaganda sim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of propaganda, are you aware that Stadia is still a thing?
Is that propaganda?
Seriously? It hasn't gone to the Google graveyard yet.
It's
Doesn't
Google
it have to be
propaganda.
effective? Doesn't it have to be effective to be propaganda?
And they have
Ooh.
several only on Stadia exclusives.
Like
Uh,
Orcs Must Die 3.
a whole lot of deals with harmonics, especially that interests me, and supermassive games. Uh,
Isn't Harmonix the ones behind Rock Band?
Yes.
Or was it Guitar Hero?
No.
Both
They did Rock
technically.
Band. Yeah, technically.
Yeah, because they started Rock Band, and then got rid of it, and no, they started Guitar Hero, got rid of it for Rock Band, and then did Rock Band, and then Rock Band died.
Which is sad. I have a lot of good memories playing Rock Band.
They kind of yearly subscriptioned it into shit, so
Oh, those bastards.
yeah. What is coming out to Stadia, you may wonder? Bomberman R Online is first on Stadia, so hey, you can play Bomberman again. But Harmonix, Uppercut Games, and Supermassive all have said that they are currently working on games for it. Amongst the items that you're going to get on Stadia, one hand clapping in early access game, Dead by Daylight, you've played it on literally everything else, crossplay with everyone, PUBG, well, so you played it, Hitman and Hitman 2, coming in September. Hitman 3 coming next year, so just in time for Hitman 4 to come out and not be on Stadia.
So Stadia, like Google kind of listened to the feedback and saying stop giving us outdated games and are trying so very hard to get
They're
on to
working.
like now.
You do got Serious Sam 4 coming to Stadia and PC only at launch. So that's interesting. Outriders 2K Battlegrounds, that comes up again.
Hooray!
PGA Tour 21, NBA 2K21.
I did not even realize that 2K made a golf game until now.
Sekiro Shadows Die Twice will be out this autumn.
Banger.
Yeah. Hello Neighbor, which will be playable with Stadia Pro at launch, so okay. And the upcoming Hello Neighbor Hide and Seek. Also a Stadia Pro get thing. So yeah, still not really feeling that lineup, but it's getting closer to actually being a game platform rather than just a thing with all of your outdated games. It sounds like maybe by next year they'll have some meaty exclusives? Question mark?
I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. They might have some announcements. I don't know what these studios have in mind or how far out they are from producing games. Obviously, Baldur's Gate is going to be a big thing for them whenever it releases. Like,
yeah.
That's still coming to Stadia and PC first. So, or I don't even know if it's coming to PC at the same time as Stadia. I hope so. I think it is. Yeah, it's PC and Stadia.
Yeah.
I will ask this question though. Out of that list of new games that are coming to Stadia through the end of the year, what do you think is like the most enticing option there for y'all? Like, what will be the one that would be like that you feel will be like the most popular out of that list?
Which will be the most popular? Like, not with me, but with people, I'd have to go with Serious Sam 4.
That's an interesting choice, actually. Because I don't know, Serious Sam is a franchise that I've never really, personally, I think I'm with you in that I've never really been too excited about it, but I've never really seen much excitement from other places either.
Yeah.
It's got a really heavy cult following.
Yeah. Then they'll follow especially with Devolver involved in. It's a very strong cult following that will follow it to the ends of the earth. And that is the sort of, positivity that Stadia kind of needs. So that would be my thought on what would actually bring the boys to the yard for Stadia. Because, I guess Sekiro is kind of a nice thing to have anywhere, but you're talking a game with very, very tight controls. And tight controls in Stadia aren't best friends.
No, and that was where I was going with this, in a way, because Sekiro was the one for me, and I've seen the tech tests. I've seen how Stadia performs in terms of frame rate and stuff like that sometimes, and I don't know if I trust that game to run on Stadia in any way that makes it feel fair.
Most of the time Stadia responds fine from, all of the playing that I've done on it, but it's not consistent.
Yeah. And that's what frustrates me.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Maybe you need that gigabit connection.
I don't need to spend more money to play a system that doesn't have games that I want to play on. Especially when I already have Sekiro on my PlayStation 4.
Yeah, if you've already got it somewhere, why bother? Anyway, hey, speaking of why bother, Dr. Disrespect, We still don't know anything about it, and he says he won't come back to Twitch even if he can.
Yay.
Anyway, Gamer Girl. So, a new FMV title has been having the internet talking, but not in a hugely positive way. It seems to be like an FMV game, which seems to be coming back a bit in popularity lately, where you are the moderator for somebody's Twitch channel. You're the new moderator, and some horror seems to be happening in the background. Some strange stalker guy starts hanging out in the chat, and you have to help her through the scenario. And boy, is it kind of awkward.
Okay.
Yeah, okay is, I think, the correct feel to have for it. And yet again, the video doesn't seem to be moving. Cool. Not sure why OBS doesn't like picking up YouTube embedded links. If I hover over it, do you continue to move? No, you do not. Fucking weird. I'll have to investigate that a little bit more.
No worries.
But what's you guys' hot take on Gamer Girl?
I don't know.
That's entirely
Right.
fair.
Because, like, I can kind of see what they're going for, but this is a very thin line to walk.
Yeah.
And I mean, you might be able to tell the story in a way, or something similar to it in a way, but this just doesn't feel like it. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to put my finger on it, really. I know a lot of people have been complaining because, like the article says, like, it's been, that it feels far too close to reality for a lot of female streamers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if this game was meant to raise awareness,
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me be frank about this. I don't know the intention behind Wales Interactive and the development of this game. So I'd be very curious to know that.
I found another article where they say that they actually made this to raise awareness about this kind of a situation.
That's what
Okay,
they
see, that-
said, but
That's what I thought it was, but I hadn't seen it spelled out. So, and that's the thing. Like, your heart is in the right place, probably. I also don't know what the development team looks like, if they really can speak to this experience, or if they, incorporated people that can speak to this experience to help craft the story and the setting and everything. But I don't know. There's something about the trailer just doesn't land in that way, and it doesn't necessarily feel as genuine as I think that they want it to come across in that way.
yeah, the lady who stars in the trailer did a lot of writing on the game itself as well. She talked to Twitch streamers for several years on it, so like I do think the reaction the internet has had so far is a little bit much, but I don't think the trailer cast it in the best light either. Following her to the club, talking to her boyfriend is kind of a weird feel. Yeah, I don't think it's the horrific thing that a lot of people have been saying it is, and I think if you did it right, it's a decent premise. just the trailer itself feels really skeezy and gross. And I think that might be more of the editing than really the game itself.
Well, Coop also raises a really good point. The game is rated Peggy 18. So they had a bit more freedom to just kind of throw everything at it and see what sticks, and then maybe push things a bit further than they should.
Mm.
But this, I mean, now having watched the trailer, this game gives me all the heebs and kind of feels like it hits a little bit too close to home. I have female friends that stream and they've dealt with less than savory individuals in their chat and their following, and like reading up on posts for people that were planning on going to TwitchCon going, hey, is there anybody who's willing to pose as like entourage just to keep me safe? Like this is not, I mean, kudos for trying to raise awareness, but this probably wasn't the best way to do it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna wait for more information on it, and there's a part of me that is thinking, you got a lot of people talking about your game that might not have if you had edited this better. I'm wondering how much of this backlash is on intention. Maybe that's me being a bit of the conspiracy theorist, but that's how Grand Theft Auto broke out of the mold, was by garnering negative publicity, and then everyone was like, wait, this game's actually kind of good, though.
So, like, there's no such thing as bad press kind of thing.
Yeah, that's my thought at least, but I really, I'm a little sketch on this, but I kind of want to see where it goes before I really start to cast judgment on it. In the meantime, I'm just kind of like, not a big fan of this trailer, but we'll see what happens, guys.
I think what bothers me the most is that it removes agency from the character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if this is supposed to be like a shedding awareness on the issues facing female streamers and empowering those people to either speak out or whatever it's trying to do, it puts all the onus on you as the moderator in that. And like from the trailer, like it's not just like, hey, delete the racist stuff from the chat. It's like you tell her like whether she should pick up the phone or not.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. It's weird the amount of agency that is moved from the woman who's supposed to be like, the main character to how much control you have over that person.
It's like you're the moderator, publicist, and handler for this streamer. You literally run their life for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it humanizes her.
It's, like I said, it could be done well. It could be, several situations. What do you think I should do, sort of thing. If you did it right, you could get like a campy Night Trap vibe, which I don't mind Night Trap so much. But it's
yeah, but Night Trap wasn't trying to have a message behind it.
No.
Or purporting to have a message behind it,
Yeah, and I don't believe for a fucking second that this game's supposed to have a message behind it. I think it was, a fun idea they wanted to experiment with.
I mean, I don't know. It could be both, and I think that you can't make a game like this without having that be part of your ethos for doing it. But at the same time, like, this is just not the way to do this. This is not executed in any real good way.
Absolutely, and it's just a tiny bit male gazy on top of everything else too. So it doesn't add to the feel goods of the trailer.
It looks like they tried to do something along the lines of a normal lost phone or Sam is missing, but put it into a streaming situation versus, hey, you found somebody's phone.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out this September. Hey, if you want to either have a cringe or a laugh, this seems like the game to stream.
I may check it out once it comes out. Um, and give it a quick play and see what it's like. So end of September, early October, depending on when this comes out, what the financial situation is like, I'll have a better run through for you guys.
Fair enough. Anyway, along the same line of mild cringe, this is the third week in a row we've talked about this U.S. Army Twitch team, but boy, this shit just keeps getting more and more amusing. Oh, gross. Hey, Lindsay, speaking of moderating.
Working on it.
Anyway. Hey, so the U.S. Army, one of their complaints was about pop-ups that would trick viewers into going towards a fake giveaway, which would end up actually recruiting them to join the army instead. Which was just super cool. So after certain people, including Jason Love, aka Man vs. Game, got into the fray talking about how you wouldn't allow this for other people, so why would you do this for the army? They have banned those giveaways, supposedly, that have been going on. So yeah, that is a thing currently going on in Twitch. They, the U.S. Army, they sure have been getting some good press lately.
Wow, I'm so twitchy on the band hammer, I almost banned Stream Elements.
I mean, it is a bot that was encroaching into our chat.
It was 2!
How dare they?
Right? But they've been banned and reported.
I guess they heard me say any publicity is good publicity and just decided, oh, okay. Let's just drop in and see if they want to buy viewers. Mm-hmm. Fuck off. I have the viewers I like right here.
This army thing is the exact thing that I feared would be happening, with them being more increasingly involved with video games and esports in the way that they are. This just speaks to the exact reasons why that people continue to troll and drag them with the stuff that we've talked about the past couple of weeks. You know, whether it be the Discord channel or the Twitch channel. Like, I am glad that people are still like speaking to the realities of what the army has done, and that they, even though they continue to drop bans on them people left and right, like, this is some bullshit, because this is the exact kind of tactic that people were trying to keep out of this sphere. Like, and I'm glad that Twitch put their foot down publicly in this way and stopped it, and hopefully they'll keep their eyes on this channel among many others that are using streaming to, I guess, push nefarious things, especially considering the strategies that the army uses whenever it comes to recruiting and who they recruit.
Yeah, there's... I am not against, in general, the idea of army recruiting, but this it's not the way to do it through what is definitely a scammy bait sort of thing. Um, no, just don't do it. It's not good. So yeah, I'm glad Twitch is fucking cutting it off at the pass. Anyway, let's hit up a slightly meatier story here. So a quite big blog post came in from Phil Spencer. Just going to start out directly with the meat of it. Hey, we talked about Stadia earlier. How about the real looking thing with Project XCloud? They are bringing in XCloud access. So if you have the Ultimate Pass for Xbox, you will get XCloud regardless, starting this fall. And it will start with access to at least 100 Xbox Game Pass titles. And you'll be able to play this anywhere. Hey, unlike Stadia that only currently works on certain phones, XCloud will be literally able to play anywhere with full access to a large subscription base, as well as it sounds like more is being promised, especially with the Xbox Series X being as backwards compatible as it will be. We might be seeing a whole lot of games suddenly available at your fingertips with this XCloud project they are working on.
So, here's the thing. First off, there is a caveat to the everywhere thing because let's be real. I don't know how much support they're going to get from the Apple ecosystem when it comes to running stuff, considering they're still running Apple Arcade right now. From what I've heard, they're going to launch with like one game available on Apple phones, or Apple devices rather. So, which I think is just like enough for them to get onto the App Store, but also not violate the App Store's TOS.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's still some mysteries around some stuff here and there. That being said, though, this is for the players and consumers. This is an awesome addition. Yeah. I am curious how Xbox as a company, like how they're structuring this financially.
Yeah, that is a question I would love to hear. At least, what we know from the free games from Epic or from Stadia, we know that the developers are at least getting decently financially compensated for their time. I don't know as much, honestly, with how the XCloud is looking.
Well, I mean, since it's going to be part of the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate package, like it's more than likely developers are going to see the same, like the funds from that they already received from being part of having their stuff be part of the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
It's more so for me like, is XCloud enough to push more people or enough people to sign up for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscriptions to make this financially viable?
It's a good question, and there's a couple of questions that I've kind of heard talking about as well of if you don't have an Xbox, right? If you get an Ultimate Pass anyway, can you get all of your stuff for the XCloud?
So, I'm looking into this a little bit, but to my recollection, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate includes Xbox Game Pass for PC. So you technically don't have to have a console, if in that case, to access Xbox Game Pass. Now the game library there are some differences in the game library.
Yeah.
But to my recollection, it's not like terribly noticeable per se. Like it's not like a drastic drop off between the two.
Okay.
But also like some of the stuff is still unconfirmed and it's a little bit out there. I'm trying to get more confirmation here real quick.
Okay, but while you're looking that up, let's drop into this post by Phil Spencer, and it's kind of surprising. A lot of the major studios seem to be dropping blog posts for their big announcements lately, rather than even having a large video, which is interesting to me. It's kind of very late 90s of you guys dropping blog posts to give out your information, but I'm honestly not against it. It does well for the show, at least. Of course, they start out by, hey, of course, we still love all of our people who are in the Xbox ecosystem, and we're here for you regardless. Okay. Video game companies are your best friend. Go ahead.
So Game Pass Ultimate includes your Game Pass for PC subscription in there.
Okay.
So you technically don't have to have a box to access XCloud if you have an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription, from what I'm gathering.
Neat.
So yeah. So like this is just, it plays more into that strategy that we've seen from Xbox over the past five years or so, of the play anything anywhere sort of thing, where they really want to open up the accessibility for people, whether it be through PC or specifically Windows PC, or the Xbox itself. We've even seen some of this tease with like the Xbox and Nintendo flirting with some form of working relationship as well. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm curious. I haven't really seen much in terms of how XCloud performs lately. So that'll be very curious to me to see how that compares to Stadia's infrastructure.
Absolutely. Of course, Phil's second bullet point is, of course, our next gen console is fucking amazing. It's going to blow you out of the goddamn water. You're going to get ray tracing at 120 FPS. Your mind's going to fucking explode, baby.
But I can do that on PC.
Yeah, but you can't have SSD technology on a PC. That doesn't happen. It's Xbox Series X only.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we jest, but like for a console, that's impressive.
It is.
Yeah.
For a console. And I'm going to say, for having the specs that the Xbox Series X is going to have, you would be paying a lot more for that on the PC currently. Now, in 2 to 3 years, a lot less. But still.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I'm approaching this new console generation. Is any money that I would have put aside to spend on one of these new consoles, I'm funneling into my PC.
Fair enough, and we need that PC gamer aesthetic here, because I sure as hell not. My PC, as far as I'm concerned, is Indie Game Central. Yeah! All the AAAs go on the boxes, because I understand how the boxes work. For the guy whose literal job is computers, you would think, hey, aren't you... No, because once you start getting it into these ecosystems where people are talking about mods and shit, my brain turns off and I don't care anymore.
You're more of a software guy versus a hardware guy.
Yee. Either way, you can play your new games day one with the Xbox Game Pass. Okay.
Yep, checks out.
After your 12-hour download.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Unless your Game Pass games go to your XCloud.
Ooh. Ooh.
They also state you will not be forced in the next generation, at least for the first year, their Xbox Series X games can be played on the Xbox One. Who knows how long that'll last?
Probably a year.
They say here the next couple of years. I don't know if I believe them entirely, but hey, good on ya.
We'll see.
It'll depend upon how much the developers really can be asked to make the games that also work on both specs. They do promise backwards compatibility. 4 generations worth. It may not be every game, and especially not any game that requires Kinect.
Oh yeah, Connect is dead. Like dead, D-E-D, dead. Capital D, capital E, period, capital D, dead. Get that Connect out of here.
And
Which
I'm
is
for it.
sad because that was the best way to play stuff like Just Dance. Because I've seen more Wiimotes get hucked across the room trying to play that game. So Xbox seemed like the much safer route to play that game. I mean, if you care about the things that are surrounding your television.
I will say the Wii Motion Plus was a huge upgrade when it came to the Wii, but those initial Wii emotes, hot shit. At least for anything that required precision.
Yeah, I mean, for stuff like Just Dance, I had a friend who on the OG Wii 5-starred every single song in Just Dance and never got off of his couch.
Yeah, that adds up. That definitely adds up. You put that Motion Plus on, suddenly it's an actual fucking thing. I will say I played a bit of Skyward Sword with that Motion Plus. Mwah, marvelous. Controlled like butter. And then never played another Wii game, didn't play a Wii U at all. Your Xbox One gaming accessories come into the future with you. So hey, that's fucking neat. You don't have to go out and buy a whole new controller. Of course, the new controllers have a lot of fancy fucking gizmos, so you should probably buy it anyway, you fucks. But still, you don't gotta, and that's cool.
I
Glad
do
to know
like-
Spencer's out here saying you should still buy it, you fucks.
I'm saying what Phil Spencer is really saying out loud rather than internally.
I do like that the adaptive controller especially is coming forward. That was a huge milestone in gaming for accessible gaming, so that needs to keep being a thing.
Completely agree. And it's a good thing for all the people that bought those Xbox Elite controllers as well. Like if you're going to drop like 150, 200 bucks on a controller, like I would want that to come across more than one generation.
And Tommy, I'll tell you this much. I am kind of a whore for weird and fanciful ideas. It was not the motion controls that killed Skyward Sword for me. It was the fact that I spent 3 fucking hours in the intro. By the time I finished my first temple, my fucks had already been all given, and I didn't care anymore about this fucking video game. I stopped at fucking Zelda game at first dungeon, because I was mad. Not at the motion controls, but Jesus Christ, it dragged. It dragged so hard. I hate it.
I did not realize that Skyward Sword offended you that much.
It does. I keep swearing to myself one day I will go back, because I want to try to really get a feel for Skyward Sword, because there's a lot of fucking deep lore in Skyward Sword that I really want to get my fucking taste buds around. But ooh, it's a hard game to love. Flying was kind of shit. I loved the swordplay, but Tommy, if you hated that flying, I feel you. I feel you in my fucking heart. Coop, I can't watch the speed run because they skip through the lore, and that is what I'd be playing it for in the first place. I know, dumb, but... Anyway, back to what Phil Spencer was saying, because I got off on a whole fucking tangent. Thanks to their smart delivery technology, not for men, but anyway, you'll be getting the game on both consoles regardless. So hey, you buy that Cyberpunk 2077, you'll have it regardless of where you want to play it, because we want you playing it wherever you feel comfortable. Hellish
That's
Court,
cool.
no idea.
I'm glad that they're committing to that. I mean, they've been committing to that. This is a lot of this is just repeating stuff they've already announced, which is like
Yeah.
why? I guess maybe they just want to put everything in one place.
They're repeating it because the more times they say it, the more they believe it's actually going to happen.
I mean, I believe them on a lot of this stuff. I don't know.
They will continue with the Xbox All Access, so you can pay a monthly fee, no upfront cost, and get yourself right into the Xbox experience with the Xbox Series X. $20 a month, I believe, for like 2 years.
Yep.
It's not a bad deal if you would rather pay monthly. Myself, I fucking hate monthly subscription payments for a thing that I know they could take away from me if I don't pay them, so I'd rather pay up front and, pay the fees on the back end, sure. I like knowing that I can fucking cancel anytime, so not a sell on me, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that's a really fucking good sale. This one, you're in control of a healthy and balanced gaming lifestyle. I feel like the lawyers made them put into it. just hey, we've family controls are real good on the Series X. Not that parents tend to pay much attention to it.
It's there.
Yeah, and but the real meat and potatoes, as we said previously, you will get more from your Xbox Game Pass Ultimate membership. I'll read through this whole one because this is the real bad boy here. Today, we're announcing that this September, in supported countries, we're bringing Xbox Game Pass and Project XCloud together at no additional cost for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members. With cloud gaming and Game Pass Ultimate, God, there's a lot of fucking repeated words once you get into the Xbox jargon. You will be able to play over 100 Xbox Game Pass titles on your phone or tablet. And because Xbox Live connects across devices, you can play along with nearly 100 million Xbox Live players around the world. So when Halo Infinite launches, you and your friends can play together and immerse yourselves in the Halo universe as Master Chief anywhere you go and across devices. Cloud gaming and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate means your games are no longer locked to the living room. You can connect more than ever with friends and family through gaming. And just like you do with your movie and music streaming service, when cloud gaming launches into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you can continue your game wherever you left off on any of your devices. Okay, so cloud saving across, regardless of if you're playing on PC or Xbox, and boy, there is a lot of corporate verbiage. You don't realize it till you read it out loud how many times I say Xbox Game Pass in multiple different ways. Holy shit, I kept thinking that I was rereading sentences I already said. But there you go. It's kind of neat. Yet again, one of those I really need to hear more about how this will all integrate together into one large thing and see it really in action before I can go, yeah, I want to put my goddamn money down on this. But, big if true.
I'm curious to see where they end up launching this initial round of it. It says supported countries. Right now, there are roughly 14 countries that have access to register for the beta, or at least had access back in April to register for the beta. Oddly enough, Lindsay, I'm sorry, one of them is not Canada.
Of course not.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's going to be coming to Canada day one, but the U.S. is one of those, and it's also said that there's no guarantee that every country that has access during the beta process is going to have access once it initially launches. So it'll be curious to see where they end up launching this at first. I would assume the U.S. and the U.K. and Korea, which were the first three that they launched the beta in, will definitely be involved there. But the other 11 like European countries that they launched the beta in, I'd be curious to see if they pick and choose where it goes based off of like player counts or performance in those areas, or if they end up just blanket releasing it and then adding Canada as a surprise. I don't know. So we'll see.
I think part of the reason why Canada has been left out of the beta is probably due to the fact that something that I want to see out of like the testing phase of this is what is the bandwidth usage if you're playing on your phone?
Mm.
Because Canada has one of the highest data costs for mobile devices in the world. And we have some of the most restrictive plans. So I would love to see what the bandwidth is, because obviously like RDR2 is on Game Pass right now.
Mm.
I can't see anybody having the space on their phone to download a 100 plus gig game. So that means it has to be streamed.
Yes.
So what kind of bandwidth usage are they going to have? Because if I get 5 minutes of play and I've hit my data cap for the month, like, how is this useful to me?
I have to imagine it'll be streaming similar to if you're streaming, video, right? Into the fact that, you've got a, whatever, you've got, 30 frames per second on your phone at a 720p. You'll probably be fine, but if you want to upgrade that to 120 frames per second at your 1080p, you may start seeing some major bandwidth uses.
From what I'm seeing, there's a minimum download bandwidth of 10 megabytes per second.
Makes sense.
I
And
mean, yeah, that could get expensive. That could get really expensive really quick.
I have to imagine they expect you to be on your local wireless, though. Like, rather than, on your 4G or 5G networks.
Yeah,
Possibly.
like Wi-Fi definitely, and they also said that like the data network, mobile data networks should also be able to work well enough, at least for the beta, as long as the latency is low enough. So yes and no. I'm sure it will work over Wi-Fi, obviously.
Yeah.
As long as, depending on what your internet plan looks like. But yeah, like I think they're promising to have better performance than Stadia when it comes to this stuff. We'll see how that pans out. I don't know.
The one thing that has gotten me with both Stadia and Project XCloud, where they're like, oh, well, you can switch to play on your phone and then take it with you. Did you guys know that Sony actually did this about almost 10 years ago?
Are you talking about the transferring stuff?
No, they had a Sony Xperia phone that you could buy a connector to clip to a PS4 controller. And then you would run an app that would side by side your PS4 to your phone. So you still had full controller support with your phone clipped to it as your screen that you could just walk away from your TV.
I vaguely remember this.
It was like 2013, 2014.
So right around the PS4 launch.
Yeah.
Yep. I just remember this because that phone was an exclusive for about 6 months at the carrier I was working at back then. So I had to know all of that to be able to sell it. And even then I didn't push it because Sony phones were terrible.
Not wrong. And the last part of our show portion of the show today, coming along with this, of course, the Xbox One will Xbox One X and One S Digital Edition will be discontinued, while the Xbox One S, as it states here, continues to be manufactured. I don't think this is literally a surprise for anyone. Hey, we're producing a whole brand new fucking console. I know that there are still some scarcity for the Xbox One if you want to buy it new, but I can't imagine that once the Xbox Series comes out, that it will be all that difficult to find an Xbox One used in the wild.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's curious that like the One X doesn't surprise me, because like that's the more expensive model. That's probably not going to sell as much, even though it has higher performance. But it's also the one that's going to be the most closely comparable to the Series X. So you don't necessarily want people buying that one. So yes, discontinue that one. That's fine. The digital edition for the Xbox One S, though, I'd be curious to even see what sales numbers were like for that, because I feel like while a lot of people that engage in console gaming might be completely ready to leave discs behind in a lot of ways, I have that feeling sometimes as well, personally. But I wonder how much the fact that did not have a disk drive really played into the decision-making process when it came to buying it compared to the traditional Xbox One S.
So cumulative unit sales in May of 2019 of the Xbox hit 42.63 million. The One S all digital only increased the total unit sales by 0.36 million over the next couple of months. Like it flopped. It flopped hard.
I'm curious though, like, because like that could either be because like people weren't ready to adopt a discless console, which if that's the case, love that Sony is out, Sony and Microsoft are both going to be promoting hard a discless console coming up this holiday season. Or if the fact that just came out so late in the console generation that no one really adopted it because they were already looking towards the next development.
I think that might be it. It did come out fairly late. I know, like, among PC gaming, like, everything's digital. Like, neither PlayWatch nor I have a disk drive in our computers. So if they're looking at grabbing that PC market as well, then a fully digital console is a really good way to go. Because, I mean, look at the storage space that takes up. I've got 2 shelves on a bookshelf filled with cases for games. For consoles that I don't even play anymore.
Yeah, but, you know, there is something nice of having that display, so, you know, your visitors can come in and judge you appropriately.
Yeah, it is my shelf of nerd. I will post it to the Discord at some point.
Yeah, I should show off my very modest collection of games at some point and be like, hi, look how much of a fucking nerd I am. None on her shelf, but I think I have a fair amount of NES carts on my shelf.
I do have SNES carts on that shelf. But I never owned an NES.
Sigh. But hey, that does make for our very last story here on Mr. Video Games. But of course, you guys aren't leaving because you already know what's happening. You know the story. You know the score. We can't end a Mr. Video Game show without saying who our Mr. Video Game is. You don't know Mr. Video Game. It's the who, the what, the when, where. Some noun that did something so amazing, so awful, so stupendous, so miraculous, so shitty. It's an noun adjective you can only look at and go, oh my god, that is video games. That right there is the physical embodiment of video games. And this week, we got a saucy one for you boys. This might get us banned from Twitch. It's so fucking hot. Oh, it burns. of course, our Mr. Video Game for June 20th, 2020. That rolls off the tongue nice. Henry Cavill building his own PC. That is not the... Yeah, there we go. Go to his Instagram now.
I was about to say, that isn't like Geralt.
And we're going to turn off that sound because I don't want a copyright claim on me. But, whoo, sexy boy. Building a PC in the tank top out of all of these parts that he got and showing people how to build a PC. And this ain't just any PC. This is a beast of a PC he put together. Clip that 2 seconds, son.
I've thrown the link because for some reason our stream hates playing videos.
Oh, Jesus.
It's okay.
But it's in chat if you guys want to go drool either over the man or the PC.
And both are worth it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
This is just fun. Like, this is a fun little diversion from the week. And I don't know. It's fun to see like someone who is probably the most recent playing Geralt, literally build the thing that most people control Geralt with. It's like an Inception almost. It's all folded onto itself.
Might be, wouldn't surprise me, John Borg. You know, it's got some of that inspiring action in there. Boy, I'm going to have to figure out what the fuck is going on with my computer not wanting to show embedded video here. But we'll figure the fuck out. Who cares? But hey, that link, what there, Lady Merowyn, put into the chat. If you're watching this video later, just Google Henry Cavill putting together a PC. You'll find it pretty straightforward and easily. And this might help out some of your late night proclivities, depending upon what your proclivities are for late night. So, hey, get her done.
Some people get saucy at GPUs. What can I say?
There's some pretty GPU action going on. This bad boy. When he peels off that plastic, oh, I felt it.
I may be distracted. Sorry. Not him. I really don't see the appeal, but that rig.
Puts the D in AMD.
But anyway, hey, this has been Mr. Video Game for your June 20th, 2020. Thank you for standing by with us as we go through all of our things. Of course, tomorrow we will be back for the History of the World Part 1, where we will be discussing, between me and Brian, video games from the long-forgotten past era. And we're excited to talk to you guys about that. As well, hey, you can always follow us on the tweeters. Links down below for our Twitters, our Discord, and hey, just for the funsies, if you ever want to donate money but not go through the process of giving money to Amazon, there's a place for you to give us a little tip. Just don't go too crazy on it, but hey, it's there if you fucking wanted to. No, I'm not good at selling myself here, but hey, you don't have to spend money on us either. Just tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Mr. Video Games every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we're working on side projects just for you guys. And of course, youtube.com/CBGB Games. If you miss anything here, including our special podcast, and boy, if you missed Friday's podcast with myself and Koala, what are you doing? Give it a watch. It was fun times for everybody. Brian, you have any final words for us this evening?
Just keep staying safe. Keep taking care of yourself. Understand that we're still all in this dumb bullshit together in one way or another. Also, if you want to follow me and my writing and other podcasting stuff and whatever, you can follow me over on Twitter at WonderboyOTM, and you can catch most of my writing over at outsports.com. And definitely come back tomorrow for another edition of Thought Dub. Because I don't know about you, but Tennis for Two, comparable to Henry Cavill building a $2,000 PC. In that sweet tank top.
Absolutely. Lady Merowyn, any final words this evening?
As always, guys, don't forget to love each other from a appropriate social distance until this thing is over. Hopefully soon, guys. Hopefully soon. Just keep doing your part. Wash your damn hands. Be the change you want to see in the world. And, just be chill.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us here today. Had a great time, of course. Coop, Calverin, John Borg, Tommy, Giant Pie, and all of you friendly people listening out there who don't speak a damn word. You're all welcome here. I love having all of you here today. Except for the bots. They can eat my vibrating ass for all it cares. Don't send them here. This is just you guys who come in and listen to us. Very excited to have you guys whenever you do come. And thank you guys, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Bye.